After 18 months of lone developer toil, a ship refit, a new tutorial and numerous bug fixes and tweaks, rounded off with no less than 17 pages of patch notes, the newly updated free to access tech demo for Starship Simulator has now arrived. In this video we're diving into what that demo includes, what's new and what the game's developers, Fleetyard Studios, have planned next. For the uninitiated, Starship Simulator is an in development indie project that aims to do exactly what it says on the tin in exquisite detail. Simulate the kind of fictional, futuristic, large starship based galactic exploration experience that you might see on a TV series like Star Trek or the Orville etc, and do it in a one-to-one scale, mostly procedurally generated recreation of the Milky Way galaxy. After a hugely successful Kickstarter campaign that ended in April 2024, the game's current sole programmer Dan Govier has been able to move the full-time development of the game to a custom built facility in his garden, the so called dev shed, separating his work from his busy household and affording some much needed thinking and physical space for the project to move forward. The updated demo arrived alongside a video from Dan explaining in great detail what they've been up to at Fleetyard Studios and what is now included in the demo. If you are interested in Starship Simulator, then I'd highly recommend giving that video a watch through. You'll find it linked below, but what follows now is a brief summary of what you can expect to see in the demo as at the time of recording and what to expect in the near future, as well as Fleetyard's plans going forward. Dan opens the video by talking candidly about the delays the last year and a half have seen towards progress on what is now Tech Demo 3 of the game and how he plans to improve that situation going forward, promising future updates to the publicly available tech demo will be much smaller in scope and will therefore be able to offer a much higher cadence to their releases. This was great to hear as it means everyone watching the game's development from the outside will be able to see real progress more often. Backers of the project have been seeing the progress on a weekly basis as Fleetyard also upload a special dev version of the game. In fact, Dan notes in the video that since November 2023 there have been a staggering 116 separate development builds of the game available to backers. We've reported previously on this channel that one of the larger ongoing processes in the last 18 months has been the complete overhaul of the Magellan class exploration vessel. The ship now has its final exterior silhouette that includes a tapered and streamlined in appearance primary hull and full circular ring that drives the space warping Alcubierre drive system that allows the ship to move faster than light. The interior, whilst still familiar to anyone who has played the demo before, has similarly been overhauled and is now much more detailed, and the spaces inside are much better defined and closer to being able to receive more decoration and the gameplay associated with their many different tasks. Away from the main ship, galaxy generation has been greatly optimised and now includes a startling 18 million real world stars. The procedurally generated planets within those star systems have also been significantly worked on to generate much finer scientific detail, and to complement and make use of all that new generated data, the ship's sensor system has also been significantly overhauled, so much so in fact that it now has its own separate tutorial as part of the demo so that players can take full advantage of it. You'll find the sensors in-game tutorial as well as the cold and dark startup tutorial for the Starship in the tutorials section of the main menu. That sensor data is of no use if you can't see what it's telling you however, and so the holo display in the centre of the bridge has likewise been overhauled and now has some initial interactable features, meaning you can point to an object your sensors have detected and target it. As a further layer to the bridge portion of the demo however, you can now spawn NPCs into all of the bridge stations and get them to perform tasks that previously required either multiple players in the same session or lots of running between those bridge stations to achieve. And it's that new level of interactivity together with the new sensor data and its associated gameplay etc that is really starting now to demonstrate exactly where Starship Simulator is going. In that regard, the next public demo update that is planned, version 0.226, is due by the end of the summer, and with Fleetyard's new policy of a more focused, feature driven cadence to their demo updates, you can expect that update to be centred around playing the current version of the game in full VR, as well as adding white dwarves to the galaxy. The autumnal update to the demo 0.227 will focus on more interactivity with the bridge NPCs, as well as adding neutron stars to the galaxy and polishing controller and keybind support. Thereafter the updates move into things like sublight engines for the ship, HOTAS support and wormholes and moons for the galaxy, and so it goes on. But the important takeaway is that these updates should now be reaching the free public demo on a semi-regular basis going forward. And you can see more of Fleetyard's plans for future updates in the roadmap channel of their Discord server, which you'll find linked below. We reached out to Fleetyard this week for an update on where they are with scaling up with their development work in the future, and they definitely have plans in that direction, but they're keen that they are the right fit as an employer for anyone that they take on, as well as the individuals being the right fit for Fleetyard, and that's completely understandable. They've also had some discussions that could potentially allow them to explore greater private investment in the game that would significantly help power all of that in the future. In the meantime, Fleetyard have some specific tasks that they're intending to bring in short term contractors for. Right now Dan can be seen on Fleetyard's regular live streams working on the game and chatting to the community. He recently started work on the second ship for the game called the Caravella, a much smaller vessel than the Magellan at 110 metres long with just 4 decks and a crew of around 14. Whilst like the Magellan, the Caravella will be capable of supporting an NPC crew, the plan is that it could also be entirely crewed by real people. Dan is also using the Caravella project as a testbed to see how quickly he can build an entire vessel from the ground up. As I mentioned, the next update to the public demo is due before the end of the summer and is focused primarily on the VR portion of the experience. You can grab the new demo right now on Steam from the link in the description, and you'll also find a link there to the Starship Simulator Discord server, and if you want to become a backer of the project you'll also find a link below to the Starship Simulator shop where you can pledge and become a backer on the project. Will you be downloading the new Starship Simulator demo? Have you already tried the new sensors and scanning gameplay? And are you planning on flying with NPCs or building your own crew of friends? Let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, remember to hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and if you want to directly support our work here at the Buur Pit you can also join us on Patreon. That's it for now. Thanks very much for watching. We very much look forward to seeing you next time.